What ended your lifelong friendship? My best friend Claire had always dreamed of being a mother. Ever since we were teenagers, she'd constantly talk about what kind of mom she'd be and how many kids she'd have. So when Julia was born, Claire was over the moon, and I was just as happy. I'd never seen her glow so bright. Our daughters, Julia and my Emma, grew up together like sisters, spending weekends and holidays at each other's houses. Fast forward 15 years. Claire asked if I could watch Julia for a week while she took a solo vacation to Bali. It wasn't unusual, Claire liked her breaks, and Julia practically lived at my house anyway. The first 2 days were fine, typical teen stuff, Netflix marathons, junk food, all of that. But on day 3, things took a turn. At dinner, I called Julia down from her room, but she didn't answer. Emma said she hadn't seen Julia since lunch, and a weird feeling settled in my stomach. I walked upstairs, knocked on her door, but got nothing. I tried opening the door, but it was locked. Julia never locked her door. Something was off. I grabbed the key from the hallway drawer and opened the door, my heart pounding. Julia was lying on her bed, barely breathing, surrounded by empty med bottles and a folded note. My vision blurred as I dialed 911. Emma stood frozen behind me, crying, asking what was happening, but I couldn't find the words. Everything happened fast. The ambulance arrived, and I was answering questions from EMTs while frantically texting a neighbor to watch Emma. On the ambulance ride, I called Claire. She was still at the resort. Through choking sobs, I told her what happened. But instead of sounding even remotely worried, Claire hesitated, then said, "Is it really that serious? Maybe she just wanted attention." I felt my stomach drop. My head spun in disbelief. At the hospital, the doctor explained Julia needed her stomach pumped. I texted Claire immediately. Surely now she'd realize how serious it was. But Claire's next message knocked the wind out of me. "Changing flights is $200, it's expensive. Plus you don't have to go to the hospital every day. That's literally what nurses are for." I stared at my phone, my blood boiling. I wanted to scream, but I knew Julia needed me more than Claire's drama right now. I took off work, used my vacation days, and spent 3 straight nights in the hospital chair beside Julia's bed. One night, she told me she thought Claire didn't love her anymore. She asked why her mom wasn't coming back for her. I didn't know how to respond. I just hugged her, feeling a wave of anger in my chest. Throughout all this, I sent Claire constant updates, photos, and texts, but each response I got back was shorter, colder. Meanwhile, she posted beach selfies, captioning, "Living my best life." It hit me then that the Claire I knew, the devoted mom she always claimed to be, had completely vanished. When Julia was discharged, I prepared a safe, comforting room for her at my place. I tried countless times to talk to Claire about the situation, but she brushed it off every time. Claire finally showed up at my house, a full day after landing, deeply tanned and relaxed. She gave Julia an awkward half-hug, then immediately asked about the luggage she'd left before vacation. As I explained Julia's recovery plan, Claire's eyes darkened, her jaw tightening with every word. Suddenly, Claire snapped. She stood up, accusing me of parenting her child behind her back. Her voice got louder, and she started shouting about me overstepping boundaries and blowing things out of proportion. "It was probably just for attention," she spat. That's when I heard a choked sob from the hallway. Julia stood frozen, tears streaming down her cheeks. Claire barely glanced at her daughter. My heart pounded. "Are you kidding me?" I shouted. I yelled at Claire that she chose the beach over her dying daughter, but Claire just scoffed, rolling her eyes. "Teens are dramatic. You should have known better." That was it. I snapped and unloaded everything. I told her she was selfish, that she'd consistently put herself first, that Julia's life was apparently only worth $200 to her. Claire's voice lowered, venomous and cold. "You don't understand what it's like needing a break from your kids." At that exact moment, something between us shattered completely. I saw who Claire really was, and I knew instantly our friendship was beyond repair. Claire grabbed Julia's bag and demanded she leave, but Julia locked herself in my bathroom, sobbing uncontrollably, refusing to go. And that's when Claire lost it. She began yelling, accusing me of kidnapping her daughter, and before I knew it, her phone was out, and she was calling the police. I can't tell you what Claire did next. The rest of the story is on my channel and linked below.